I'm going to show you how to make a very quick and easy panoramic photograph using Photoshop. Now I know that most iPhones and Samsungs and smartphones have the ability to now take panoramic photographs off of your device, which is really nice. However, they always look a little to me wonky. They have like a fisheye or a warped feeling, and they never look nice and flat. Plus, by doing it in Photoshop, it gives us the ability to do more advanced photo editing on those panoramics and get a nice, clean, long photograph of whatever it is we want. Now for this, I have 4 shots of a different landscape that have been broken up into different pieces. Now what's great about this script that we're about to run in Photoshop is that it is smart enough, Photoshop, to figure out how to line everything up. They don't even have to be in the right order. Photoshop can figure out what order they need to go in. So we're going to start by going to the File menu. We're going to go to Automate, and we're going to go to Photo Merge. Sounds about right. And in here, I'm going to leave it on auto because I like Photoshop to kind of do it for me because they do a really nice job. Now, there's other choices which you can play with. You can remove the vignettes. You can kind of change the distortion correction if you wanted to. But for now, I'm just going to leave it on auto because this is just a quick one. And I'm going to pull up the 4 panoramic images I already had pre-selected to do this. And I'm going to say open, and then I'm going to say OK. Now, when I hit OK, Photoshop's going to do some crazy stuff and it's going to be jumping around. That's completely normal. If you go to do this, don't panic that Photoshop is broken. It's not. This is what it does. And watch how it goes. Basically what it has to do is it has to look at every different piece of photograph and it has to create the layout of all of these images, and it gets them laid out pretty well in my opinion. You really can't see the edges unless you look really carefully. A little bit right here. I see a little bit right there, but overall it's a really nice job. Now the other issue is you've got some of this border. Because my photographs didn't line up perfectly, I now have to come in and use my crop tool, which is really handy, and I'm going to pull down until I've hidden that checkered board that shows that that area doesn't have anything in it. And I'm just going to pull it. Now unfortunately you do lose a little bit of your photograph this way, but most of the time you're not losing too much that it's a big deal. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard to lock it in place. Oh, and see I messed up a little bit, so I'm going to come in here and fix it and recrop the top of it so I have a nice clean border. And now I have a nice looking panoramic image. And the last thing I like to do sometimes, which is a technique I like to show students when we talk about copywriting and protecting ourselves, especially in photography, which is becoming more and more of an issue. It's a really simple way just to add a big old watermark onto my photograph so that nobody can take my pictures. So I like to put my name. Typically, I'm going to come in here and make a very large font size so it takes up my entire photograph and people can't really rip off my, too big, my photograph. If I had actually taken this, I'm going to put it here in the middle. I'm going to turn my opacity down so it just kind of overlaps it a little bit. You can change the color. It really doesn't matter what color it is because the idea is just to stop people from being able to steal your photograph. It's up to you where you put them. Some people like to put them in places that are obvious. Some people like to put them in the middle. It's kind of your preference. But by adding a watermark to your images when you upload them to an internet site or a website or a social media, you guarantee that people cannot use your photographs easily. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much.